Today is our lecture on design of induction motor part 2. Now in previous lecture we study about induction motor design parameters, some signification and some symbols, and also discussed about specific magnetic loading, specific electric loading, and also some factor affecting specific magnetic loading. Now in this lecture we discussed about the factor affecting choice of electrical loading and design of stator. First of all, we see a choice of specific electric loading. A specific electric loading we have described in a previous lecture. A specific electric loading mainly defined as a total stator ampere conductor divided by stator periphery at the air gap. Total stator ampere conductor means Iz into Z, and stator periphery means pi into d, where d is the diameter of rotor. Now here we see the some factor are affecting the specific electric loading. First we see the temperature rise. First of all, we know that in any machine, a temperature rise is given by theta is equal to AC rho delta into C. Here theta, which is a temperature rise value, AC, which is an ampere conductor, rho, which is a resistivity of any material, delta, which is an current density, and C, which is an cooling coefficient. Now we see the equation. The temperature rise are depend on AC, rho, delta, and C. From this equation, we know that a delta, which is equal, here we see the rho, which is a resistivity of material, which is always constant. A delta, which is a current density, we also taken as a constant. C, which is a cooling coefficient, we taken also as a constant. So from this equation we know we see that theta is proportional to AC. AC, which is an ampere conductor or a specific electric loading. So our temperature rise proportional to specific electric loading. So from this we will see that AC, which is equal to Iz into Z, which means that AC increase, at that time Iz into Z will increase. If Iz into Z increase, a current flowing in the conductor increase, so that I square R losses increase. And if I square R losses increase, at that time heat will produce and heat will increase, so temperature becomes more. So if we increase the AC value, temperature rise also increase. If we decrease the value of AC, the temperature rise also decrease. Now second one is an voltage. Here we see the equation of space factor, which is equal to area of bare conductor divided by total slot area. Now we see how the voltage affects the specific electric loading. First of all, we know that any high voltage machine, we need higher level of insulation. If we need high value of insulation, so that a space required for the insulation is higher. If we choose higher insulation and space required for the insulation is higher, so space required for the conductor is less in a slot, so that from this equation here we see that our SF value will be poor. Now suppose a value of AC be taken small, so that if we taken a value of AC small, we put high insulation in a slot. So for high voltage machine, we choose AC value small. If the value of voltage is decreasing, we take an AC value increase. Now the third one is an overload capacity. Now in any machine, any induction machine, for find out the output or a overload capacity, we draw a circle diagram. And from the circle diagram, we have a circle which describes the capacity of motor. If the circle diameter is higher, at that time overload capacity also higher. Now what first we see here, AC is proportional to Iz into Z, because the diameter is a constant for any one machine. So changes in Iz into Z, so AC proportional to Iz into Z. Now we know that a number of turn which is equal to our conductor into 2 divided by 2. We get the value of turn. So conductor is equal to turn into 2. So here we put the value of Z is equal to 2 into TPH, a turn per phase. So from this equation we derive that our AC is proportional to TPH, or turn per phase. Now a larger value of AC gives more number of turn per phase. If the value of AC increase, at that time number of conductor increase, so number of turn also increase. So AC gives more number of turn per phase. If number of phase is increasing, the inductance is proportional to number of turns square. So inductance will also increase, and inductance which is equal our reactance which is equal to X, which is equal to 2 pi FL. So here inductance is proportional to reactance. So leakage reactance also increase with number of turn increase. If the leakage reactance increase, from the circle diagram, diameter of circle diagram is inversely proportional to leakage reactance, and if inversely proportional to leakage reactance, means the diameter of circle diagram increasing when leakage reactance decreasing, and diameter of circle diagram decreasing when leakage reactance increasing. And if number of turn increase, a diameter of circle diagram decrease. So we conclude that if we take a higher value of AC, our overload capacity is decreasing. Now the insulating material. We use a good quality insulating materials, we allow higher temperature rise. If we choose higher good quality of insulation, so that space required for the insulation is less, and if space required for the insulation is less, at that time space required for the conductor is higher. So cooling for the conductor is higher, and so we taken higher temperature rise in machine for a good quality material in a insulation. Now the next one is the cooling coefficient. Now cooling coefficient, we have an equation of temperature rise theta, and which is equal to AC into rho into delta. Now here, suppose we assume that our theta or a temperature rise is a constant. If temperature rise is constant, it means that a changes in between cooling coefficient and AC. So our AC, which is equal to 1 by C. Here we see the equation theta is equal to AC into rho into delta C. Here we taken theta as a constant value, and delta and rho is also constant. So we taken AC which is equal to 1 upon C. Now we conclude that for smaller value of cooling coefficient, higher value of AC we use, and higher value of AC we taken in high speed machine due to improved ventilation, because in a high speed machine the cooling for the high speed machine is better, so temperature rise we get higher, and for that purpose we choose AC value higher. Now the next one is in current density. Now here we see the same equation, theta is equal to AC, theta is equal to AC into rho into delta C. Now from this equation, suppose we assume that a theta and a coefficient, cooling coefficient and temperature rise are constant, so the AC is proportional to delta. Now if the higher value of specific loading, electric loading can be used in machine for the lower current density we use. Here we choose a higher value of AC. At that time a value of delta we choose is low, because AC is inversely proportional to delta. Now next one is a number of poles. Now first of all we see the equation here, NH, which is equal to 1 upon 20 F by P RPS. So from this equation in RPS we get NS is equal to 2F by P. Now from this equation, if we decrease number P, if we decrease the number of pole here, we know that a speed is inversely proportional to pole. The number of pole decrease, speed will increase, and if speed will increase here, from this output equation Q is equal to C0 d square ln, if speed Ns will increase, at that time diameter d will decrease, because Ns is inversely proportional to d square L. So d decrease, which in turn reduce the depth of slot, because a diameter d will decrease, so that our overall size of the rotor will decrease, and size of rotor will decrease, so that a slot in a rotor which also decrease and depth of the slot is decreased. So in general length we use 5000 to 45,000 ampere conductor per meter we used. Now next one is in peripheral speed. Peripheral speed which is given by V is equal to pi dn, meter per second. Now d is in diameter of stator bore, V is in peripheral speed, and n is in speed in RPS. Now generally standard construction of induction motor, we use peripheral speed is up to 60 meter per second. If we use a special construction, then higher peripheral speed like 45 meter per second we allow. But we choose a higher value of speed for a special machine, there is a cost is increased. And some normal design, the diameter should be chosen such that a peripheral speed does not exceed 30 meter per second. Suppose a diameter we calculate is above the 30 meter speed, we can recalculate the diameter value. Now the next one is a ventilating duct. A ventilating duct in any machine provides a cooling for the machine. If the core length L is exists to 100 to 125 mm. If pore length value is more than 100 to 125 mm, then it is difficult to cool and some hot spot may be created. So to avoid this, radial ventilating duct are provided, and this ventilating duct width is generally 8 to 10 mm. Now here we see the equation of gross length. A gross core length which is equal to Lg is equal to L minus Nd into Wd. Here Lg which is in gross length, L is in stator core length, Nd which is in number of duct, Wd which is in width of each duct. Now here net iron length Li which is equal to Ks into Lg. Now Ks which is equal to stacking factor, and generally the value of stacking factor is 0.9. Generally the stacking factor value is 0.9. Now we are studying design of stator. In design of stator, we design number of parameters of stator, like design of stator winding, calculator stator transfer phase, area of conductor section, design of shape of slot, a factor affecting number of slot, calculating stator winding resistance, find out length of mean turn, and design of stator teeth. Now first of all we see the stator winding. Generally, a stator winding mainly at two types: a single layer Merce winding and double layer lap winding. A single layer Merce winding generally used for a small motor, and the slot used in this type of motor rotor which is small, and this single layer winding are placed in the slot, and the slot is a semi enclosed type slot. Now second one is a double layer lap winding. In double layer lap winding, we use a open type slot, and it used for medium size motor. Generally this winding is a diamond shaped coil is used. From the connection of winding for a induction motor, a squirrel cage, and induction motor, a slip ring. For a squirrel cage induction motor, started by star delta starter and is designed for delta connection with 6 lead for a connection of stator. And for a slip ring motor, we know that for a slip ring motor there is an starting method by use of resistance. So the stator can be designed either for star or either for delta as per our requirement. Now we see the stator turn per phase. Here we see the equation of EMF which is equal to 4.44 F phi m Ts into kWs. Now first of all we have to find out turn per phase, and from the EMF equation we find out the equation of turn per phase. So first of all we see the here EMF equation. Here is the number of turn Ts for the stator, and kWs which is the stator winding factor which is 0.955, and the winding factor actually the sum of our pitch factor and distributed factor. Now phi from the our specific magnetic loading, which equation we derived, the equation is BAV which is equal to pi d by BAV which is equal to P phi by pi dl. So from this equation here we have a BAV tau into L, a tau which is our pole pitch, and pole pitch we defined as the total periphery divided by number of cones. So here tau which is equal to pi d by p. So put the value of pi d by p here, we get the value of phi m which is BAV pi dl by p. Now starter winding turns from the EMF equation we find out by ES by 4.44 F phi m kWs. Now we see the stator conductor section. Actually the stator conductor section means a cross sectional area of stator. So for find out the cross sectional area we use a current density equation. So current density equation we have seen here, current density IS, current density which is equal to current IS and current density delta S, and here is the area of stator. Now for find out the cross sectional area we have a equation current divided by current density. Now in our design we assume that a current density for stator winding is 325 ampere per mm square. So here is the value for current density. Now we find out a current IS, a stator current. So find out the stator current. We find stator current by the help of output equation. Now output equation Q is equal to I into V into 10 raised to 3. So from the output equation we find out current IS, and with the help of delta S we find the cross sectional area of conductor section. Now stator slot design. First of all, a stator slot design, we have introduced a shape of stator slot. So generally we have two types of shapes are we commonly used in induction motor stator. First one is an open type slot and second one is a semi-enclosed. The open type of slot, in this type of slot, the slot opening will be equal to that of width of the slot. This type of slot has greater flexibility to assemble any winding. So the repairing of the winding is easy. However, such slot will lead to higher air gap contraction factor. So that air gap contraction factor is higher, which means that a flux distribution in here and the magnetizing current is higher and the poor power factor is there. Wherein semi-enclosed slot, here we see that in semi-enclosed slot, in the figure we see that a slot opening is much smaller than the width of slot. So in this type of slot assembly of winding is more difficult and also take more time compared to our open type slot. But for the on the basis of cooling, semi-enclosed slot is has less cooling than open type slot, and it's also some cost higher than open type slot. However, the air gap characteristics is better compared to open type slot. Selection of number of stator slot. A number of stator slot must be properly selected at the design stage, as this manner affect the weight, cost, operating characteristics of motors, as there are no rules for selecting number of stator slot. The advantages and disadvantages for selecting higher number of slot, which help to serve guidelines in selection. So in this lecture we study some advantages and disadvantages for the higher number of slot, and then we're going to discuss about some factors affecting the finding the number of slot, like tooth precision losses, leakage reactance, ventilation, magnetizing current, and cost briefly. So now some advantages for the number of slots are reduced leakage reactance, reduced tooth pulsation losses, a higher overload capacity, Some disadvantages for taking a higher value of number of slots, like increased cost, increased weight, increased magnetizing current, increased iron losses, poor cooling, increased temperature rise, or reduction in efficiency. The number of slots per phase should be not be less than 2, otherwise the leakage reactance becomes high, and the number of slots should be selected which gives an integral number of slots per pole per phase. So the stator pole pitch at the air gap surface should be between 1.5 to 2.5 centimeter. Now first we see a tooth pulsation losses. Now here in figure we see the number of slots are here, and here is the field, and the field from now we see. So due to the slotting, the reluctance offered to the flux varied due to alternate slot and tooth, and a slot gives more reluctance while tooth gives less reluctance. The effect of this change in reluctance is to produce tooth pulsation losses and noise. So as a designer or as an engineer, we have to select a number of slots such that there should be minimum variation of reluctance in the air gap, and this is achieved by using large number of narrow slots. Now, leakage reactance. When large number of slots are used, the insulation required for the slot increase. So due to the leakage flux or a leakage reactance, a high reluctance path, and there is a reduction in leakage flux. So thus use of large number of slots will reduce leakage reactance, and it can also be shown that a slot leakage reactance is inversely proportional to number of slots per pole per phase. So when number of slots are large, leakage reactance is small. As leakage reactance reduce, overload capacity of motor increase. So we have to select a larger number of slots to get higher overload capacity. Now next one is in ventilation. Here see in the figure, here is some ventilating duct, some I section ventilation are there. Now large number of slot means large number of teeth with small thickness, and due to this a teeth may become mechanically weak. So many times they are required to be supported by a I section or a T section, which here you see in the figure, which gives obstruction to flow of air through the ventilating duct, thereby affecting the ventilation of machine. So we have making a large number of slot, and it may affect ventilation of machine. Now next one is the magnetizing current. When large number of turns are selected, a area of tooth is reduced, and this increase flux. When large number of teeth turns are selected, a area of tooth is reduced, and this increased density in the teeth will result in increased magnetizing current, and which increase the iron loss and makes power factor poor. So we have to select a less number of slots to reduce magnetizing current and to improve power factor. Now the next one is in cost. When the large number of slots are selected, the number of coil are also increased, and also the insulation required is increased. Now when we have an insulation increase, at that time we know that a labor cost is also increased, and thus we as a design engineer we have to select a less number of slots to reduce the cost of the machine. Thank you.